All right, I think they call this getting prickly over Syria. We're just getting word now that the United States, or particularly the Obama administration, is criticizing Russia's move for sending anti-ship missiles to Syria. As you know, just off the coast of Syria, they've got a lot of Russian ships in the neighborhood. It's heightened tensions there, to put it mildly. Jerusalem Mayor Nir Barkat joins us right now. This is getting pretty antsy there. What's going on?
Well, the Syrians are now very busy with themselves, but they're not very friendly. And so what we have to watch is make sure that they don't take some of their more aggressive weaponry and move it to third parties like the Hezbollah in Lebanon and others. And I think Israel's watching and guarding to make sure that these bad people don't use third parties to try and hit Israel.
Are you surprised that post-Israel taking a proactive move in Syria, that no one else has followed suit either against Israel? There have been plenty of threats, but so far none have materialized.
Well, I think that the Syrian regime, the Assad regime, and others are very, very well aware that if they try to hit us, we're stronger, and we will hit them back. And that battle,
their friends and players in the region are hands off.
Well, they know why, because it's probably not going to be worthwhile trying to challenge Israel. We are very, very clear with the message that, you know, you're busy with yourselves. Don't play around with us. We're we're working very hard on scaling the economy, seeking friends, seeking relationship with the moderates around us. And it's very interesting observation. You see that all the players in the world that are working well with Israel are doing well. The ones that are perceiving themselves as enemies of Israel, the harsher they are, the worse they're doing. Look at the Syrian regime, Iraq, Iran. They're all very busy with themselves, working hard, and their economy is not in the right direction.
Well, you might be right about that, but I'm looking at Russia and how it's beefing up its presence in Syria, providing weapons to Syria, a lot more ships off of Syria. That obviously raises the issue. What would they do if we were to intervene or go after chemical weapon stockpiles that might be in Syria? And does Russia just sit idly by? Or that's where the fear is that this escalates into something.
They say that in the Middle East it's hard to predict the past. So I'm not sure anyone really knows what's going to happen. But one thing is very, very clear to the Syrians and any one of their partners. Don't mess around with us. Don't mess around with Israel. If we feel or find out that you're trying to move your weaponry to third parties, we will stop you. If you try and hit Israel and hurt us, we will stop you, and you will pay a heavy price. And that message, that balance of power, making sure that we're not interrupting in the internal crisis they have, but as long as it's internal, if we feel a threat, it's our life that is at stake.
But do you feel like Israel just got slapped in the face? I mean, there was Benjamin Netanyahu imploring Vladimir Putin, hey, hands off, you know, don't make the situation worse. I'm paraphrasing there.
Yeah.
And here Russia then, I'm not saying arms Assad to the teeth, but certainly helps him out with more bad stuff, a greater military show of force. Either he just wanted to make a mockery of the prime minister, or he's off on his own.
Well, we don't know what happened in those discussions. One thing is very, very clear to me. Prime Minister Netanyahu is very, very clear on defending Israel.
Well, he has to feel like he was hosed here.
I don't know, and you know, I wasn't in the meeting.
How would you feel?
I don't know what was in the meeting, but I'm sure
certainly
that
not to arm Syria.
Well, even if they arm Syria, if they mean anything against Israel, they are harming Syria, because we're going to make sure that they're not going to use those weaponry. And if they, God forbid, they use any kind of weaponry against Israel, God forbid they do that, we will make sure it's not going to be worthwhile for them.
Mayor, the president has already said there would be consequences, this sort of thing, the proverbial line in the sand. His critics here said, well, you now you know, and you're drawing another line, or you're tiptoeing around this.
So here's the challenge we all have. The regime retaliating against Assad is not better than him. So it's between worst of all evils. Who do you help to defend the Syrian people? On the one hand, the world's sitting there. You have over 70,000 people murdered and killed in Syria. It's appalling. It's a shame that the world.
So does it matter whether it's by chemical weapons or just that they're being killed? We seem to draw the distinction.
The fact is that the world is sitting on the sideline and not intervening. And the challenge is, if you intervene, how do you intervene?
Do you
to
think
stop the
you're saying
bloodshed?
then we should intervene now?
Well, somebody's got to stop the weaponry, the supply of weaponry. Somebody should make sure that the people that are lifting their arms to kill other people, that should be unacceptable in the world we live in. It's not for self-defense. These are people that are killing each other. And, you know, this is what they're doing at home. God forbid, you know what they could do if they, again, look at Israel as and try to hit us. See, this is a bad regime. And the world has to send a very, very clear message that if you're a very bad regime and you're you're becoming more and more radical and more using, weaponry against innocent people, you should pay a price.
But he hasn't yet. He hasn't yet. But we'll see, Mayor. We'll see. But very good. Enjoy your
I'll just share with you one thing.
Sure.
While the neighborhood, we live in a tough neighborhood.
Yes, you do.
But Israel today, and Jerusalem specifically, is doing very, very well because we're seeking partnerships. We're seeking to take advantage of the opportunity. And while some people are looking to haunt us, we're focusing on how to create a better world.
Fastest growing economy in that region. Not too shabby.
Thank
Mayor,
God.
thank you very, very much. In the meantime, turns out the media doth protest too much. Taxed over this IRS thing, but